Welcome to the Christian Contractor Podcast.
Christian Contractor Podcast.
A show created for kingdom-driven Christian contractors that are focused on scaling their business in God's name while positively impacting the world around them. If you're ready to ascend from a contractor to a purpose-driven business owner, we're here to serve you. Here's your host, Brandon Guthrie.
How to exit your contractor business and fulfill your God-given purpose. What's up? I'm Brandon Guthrie with Dream Design Labs here on the Christian Contractor Podcast, where our mission is to help Christian contractors turn their business into their ministry and scale it in the name of God with biblical principles and righteous marketing so that they can be a light in the darkness. Marketing doesn't have to be hard. You just need the right tools and the right heart to serve. Thanks for tuning in. I'm super excited to have Loren Alves of H&A Equity Acquisitions with me today. Loren, welcome and thank you for being here.
That's an awesome intro, Brandon. Thank you. I love listening to that, man. That's just a powerful punch. Love it.
Yes, dude. It's a pleasure to have you here, my man. I really appreciate you. Man, it was God ordained and divine appointment for us to meet at that last mastermind, right. And dude, it was awesome. We're doing Bible study before the event, and here we are, dude. God's moving, God's working, and it's just awesome to see. So today we're going to be talking about, so for the Christian contractors listening in today, we're going to be talking about contractors sometimes they don't know what to do with their business. They're approaching retirement and they're kind of like, man, I don't know if I'm going to sell my business or if I'm going to close my business, and closing their business is potentially their best option. And we're like, whoa, wait a second. You've worked so hard to build this, and we know that you believe that as well. And this is going to be a breath of fresh air, a unique approach to exiting your business so that you can have the time to do what you believe God is telling you that you should be doing, and being able to have the time to serve and to bless others. And Loren is going to jump into that more. But before we jump into this awesome exit strategy that I'm very pleased to talk to you and bring to you guys today, Loren, give us a little bit of background. Who are you? It's like, who's this Loren guy? Give us a little bit of background. Give us the details, who you are, where you're from, and how'd you get here?
Okay, well, it started a long time ago in 1970 when I was a bouncing baby boy. So I grew up in a small town in New Mexico, and Silver City, New Mexico, and really not really much exposure. Really, like not even in the town, but outside the town. Or, across from the biggest ranch in the county. So I'm like a hick from the sticks, basically. And so never really been exposed to much in the form of even business ownership and really even God or didn't grow up Christian or anything like that. My story is pretty rough. I know there's a lot of people who have that rough beginning of coming from a $500 a day habit to eventually being introduced to God and getting pulled out of that at the age of 19, and really just getting surrounded by a group of people, mostly a group of men who started speaking into my life. They weren't Christians, but they were godly men. They didn't know they were speaking the word of God to me, but God did, as He was drawing me to Christ. And so eventually got down to Las Cruces, New Mexico, was in college, and I actually got into the water and wastewater business. 1989, it was kind of a brand new industry. There's only like 4 of those schools in the country. So I just happened to fall into it. Mostly, I was the youngest one there, and it was mostly these people doing second career type stuff. Water and wastewater treatment was not a big thing. It was kind of like a disgusting field, right? And all these old guys said, "You're in the right place. Stay in this, and you'll never have to worry about finding a job or good money." And so I said, "All right." Got into it and really thought I was really passionate about it. I was going to go get a civil engineering degree and an environmental engineering degree, and all that stuff. And then when I was 27, baby on the way, I get hit with this, hey, we might be privatizing the facility. So at 27, new kid, not really mature in my walk with anything, not a Christian, anything. I freak out and I go to one of these things. In the 90s, it was vending machines, right? The work from home, how to build a business from home, selling, operating a vending machine route or doing stuff like that. And so I got pulled into this one thing. It was business card advertising display system, right? So anybody that has those janky cork boards, I would go in and say, hey, how about this professional thing? It was called the Take One display. So you could take 200 cards and 25 slots at each one. So I started selling and marketing that to local businesses, making money, right? And I'm ready to get out of this threat of privatization. And the entrepreneur bug bit me. Connected with a guy who started doing the internet back in the 80s when it was probably DARPA. It was the Defense and Department of Defense and a few colleges at that point. And so him and I partnered up. I was doing my business card thing. He was doing his thing, and we just killed it. We did a great job together and got it. I was doing a lot of water and wastewater jobs, the full-time job, the security job, the hourly wage that helped me. I made good money at it. But I also always had this side hustle. Always had this side hustle going on. A lot of marketing, a lot of websites. I was kind of like the fractional chief marketing officer or the main guy in-house in some entities. Started probably 5 companies, off and on over the last 20, 25 years. But really, it's a lot of lessons, those trials of fire we go through that refine out the gold, like the Bible talks about. You got to refine out the dross. Well, been through a lot of those. Divorced, lost. I didn't lose everything, but lost a lot. Had a major loss through a daughter of mine that she only lived for 6 hours, but she was kind of just the push behind me coming to Christ. That was my break. It's like, are you going to come with me, or are you going to try to figure this out on your own? Was really it. So that became really my mission focus. That's kind of where I came up with this whole concept or just really capitalizing on, I've been given a gift of freedom. So how do I hand that off? And I've always, the last 30 years have been that. You have to give it away to keep it. So whatever I get, it's just almost second nature. It's like, who do I get to help with this? God's given me something. Who gets to be helped out of this? Tragedies included. Pain and suffering included. So, probably about 5 years ago, had a major life-changing moment in a work accident, and it just, I got a real clear message from God. Said, hey, you've helped plenty of other people make millions of dollars online, and now you get to do it for the kingdom. And so Luke 10:2 says, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. And so the company is 10:2 Harvest Media, Luke 10:2. And now it's all about harvesting and really creating fields of growth for businesses, for people. And it's, we've got to go global with it. And I'm married, my wife, we've been married coming up on 7 years, and we both have that same entrepreneurial kind of mindset of our testimony is our life. How do we help people with everything we do, not just show up on Sunday and really our businesses are extension of Christ. It's like Paul was a tent maker. That's what he did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Dude, that's huge. And that's a crazy story, and I've heard more of it, and man, you're a good dude. You've been through a lot, and but God's orchestrating your life so that you're able to impact so many lives. So I'm super excited to have you here today and speaking to so many people. I know God is a divine appointment, no coincidences. So, dude, thank you so much for that. And So that kind of segues into our next portion here, where we're going to talk about how we can, like you, use our business as our mission and get more time and freedom to be able to serve in the form of an exit strategy. So a lot of Christian contractors listening in right now potentially are in positions where they don't really know what they're going to do about their business, and their best option in their mind right now as they're listening to this is, I guess I'm just going to close the business. So tell me about the unique approach that you have for someone that's in that position.
Well, it's something that showed up probably about 9 months ago. It kind of just, I was at a traffic and conversions out in San Diego, I think last September, I believe it was. And this guy was just talking about, your business, how to buy a business with no money down, or just acquiring business ownership. And then this buddy of mine, we were talking about it 3 or 4 months ago, and he's a business attorney, and there's no way I would go into this. Like, the business that I do, I talk my language and he talks his, so there's no way I would do this without his legal experience and his background. He consumes legal stuff like you and I eat cereal, right? It's like, and I were just having a breakfast, and he, because have you ever done that where you run into like massive business stuff and the legalities of it are just like a wave of, I don't want to touch it, right? It's too much. That's what I think that's what people think that is when it comes to the options of what do I do with my business, shut the doors is the only option, because selling it, it's just a pain. A lot of people that we've met, they're ready to retire. They're, it's like what you described. It's somebody who's ready to retire. You can go, but you've got a team that is like family now. This is like your family, and you probably have your retirement set, or your money. Like, you've set yourself up well, but you're kind of the asset holding everything together. You may have a key person or two, but you just don't know what to do. And so we took this concept and added a little spin to it, and it's actually taking the concept of selling your business and then flipping it into an employee-owned company. And my business partner, him and I, we started digging into this. I'm like, well, how easy could this be? So it's like flipping the script, because we're removing the greed component. There's a lot of people who would come into a company, cannibalize it, sell off the assets, and then walk away. And then it just kind of disintegrates, right? And so what we wanted to do is and I've got this motto that I want to bring middle class back to America, one business at a time, right? Share this ownership, give people breathing room. If you look at these days, what slavery is, it's like working, the company store gives you food and shelter and a little bit of scratch to get around. That's kind of, a lot of people are working at that level. Housing is up, food's up, gas is up. I'm making just enough to survive, and that's really it. So we want to come in and just flip that all the way around. It creates a win-win-win-win scenario for everybody. Come in and help the business owner exit confidently. Like, it's